Hey guys, welcome back. We are continuing with the November 2016 question paper. We are answering question 5.2. Let's go straight into it. You're provided with information from the books of Carl's office equipment for the year ended 29 February 2016. The business sells office desks, chairs, and printers. Carl took certain decisions at the beginning of the 2016 financial year. Provide relevant figures for all questions below. So this is very key that everything you answer, you make sure that you're putting some figures into your answers. So 5.2.1, it says, what decision did Kyle take regarding the selling price of the desks? All right, let's go to the desks there in the information. So they say, let's see. Desks, orders received, units sold, returns by customers, and then selling price. So you can see that Carl decided to increase the selling price from 1,920 to 2,520. So that's the decision. So you don't have to put everything else, or you can say that he decided to increase the markup from 60% to 80%, but I'll just take the selling price and say decided to increase the price from 1,920 to 2,520. Kyle decided to increase the selling price of desks from 1,920 to 2,520. So that's it. And you've quoted the figures. So let's just do this. Let's put in so that it actually looks like money. Okay, cool. And then how has this decision affected the business? State 2 points and provide the figures. So let's see how these things have affected the business. And also bear in mind, the question doesn't say how has this decision negatively affected or positively affected. Any effect that it has had, whether it's positive or negative, you can quote it in this question. So let's go. So, I mean, one of the things that happens when you actually decrease the price, when you increase the price, is that you can expect that the number of units sold can decrease. So, obviously, you can see here that as a result of increasing the price, the number of goods of gross units sold has decreased from 365 to 300. So you have to say. The number of units sold decreased from 365 to 300. And then the second thing that happened, let's see. So you may be tempted maybe to talk about the returns, but you can't talk about the returns. The thing about the returns, it has to do with the quality of the stock. Here, we're not talking about the quality of the stock. We're just talking about the price, what the price would have done to customers. Someone would just return a product just because it's not good enough or it's not up to their standard, and it has nothing to do with price. Cool, let's go. Well, the other effect that I see is the gross profit. It increased from 259,200 to 336,000 because now you are charging a higher price, so your margins are much higher. And as a result, it resulted in an increase in the gross profit. So I'll say increase in gross profit from It was from 259, 200 to 336,000. And then the other thing, I mean, you had to only mention 2 to get all the marks, but there's another one that I did see, which was actually quite interesting. Stock turnover rate. Stock turnover rate is about how frequent do you sell out stock. So 6 times a year now, and in the previous year it was 7.2 times. So obviously, because you've increased the stock, you're not able to sell as fast as you used to. I'm going to say here, the stock turnover rate, stock turnover rate decreased from 7.2 to 6 times. Yeah, cool. But you only needed just 2, and any of those 2 would have been marked correct. And also, if you feel like writing 3 in the exam, it's fine. They're gonna mark the correct 2. So say you wrote 3 and then the 2 are correct. They're gonna mark those 2 that are correct, and you get the 4 marks, even if the other one was wrong. So you might be on the safe side just writing 3 if you see 3. But bear in mind that you also have to save time, because the accounting exam is very time stringent. Cool, moving on. Question 5.2.2. This one is based on chairs. It's asking, was it a good idea for Carl to change to a cheaper supply of chairs? Explain 2 points. Well, here you're gonna have to say yes or no, and then you're gonna have to support your answer. That one was not really asking whether it was a good decision to increase. It was just saying, how has it affected? And you would just state how it has affected. But now you're looking at this, is it a good idea? Okay, if it's a good idea, how can I prove that it's a good idea? And if it's a bad idea, how can I prove that it's a bad idea? Let's go and look at the chairs. So in the chairs, the selling price went from 714 to 490. The cost price reduced from 510 to 350, indicates that cheaper supplier, still keeping the same margin. But the gross profit, it has dropped tremendously. You can see here that the gross profit, sorry, it has dropped quite tremendously from 148,000 to 95,200. And the other thing, if you're decreasing the price, well, you're expecting that you're going to sell stock a little bit faster than you actually used to. But in this case, the stock turnover rate has remained the same. So no improvement over there. So that indicates that you actually made a bad decision. So the first question, was a good idea? No, it was a bad idea. So you would say no, and then explain 2 points. I mean, oh, and the other thing that I actually did notice, the returns by customers, they went from 0 to 90. So the first thing you'd say, returns by customers increased from 0 to 90. Negative impact on the brand, on the business brand. So like if you're selling cheap stuff, you create a negative perception of your business. And then the other effect that what I did point out, obviously, was the fact that gross profit decreased from 148,920 to 95,200. So let's say gross profit reduced from 148,920 to 95,200. And then the other thing that we did say was that despite the decrease in price, the stock turnover rate, the stock turnover rate remained the same 4 times. Yeah. So that would be our answer. You only needed to explain 2 points. Again, if you included 3, yeah, that's up to you. They're going to mark the 2 that are correct and give you the 5 marks that you deserve for this question. And then moving on to 5.2.3, which is the last question of this exercise. They say printers, they say Kyle significantly reduced the selling price of printers in the 2016 financial year in response to a new competitor who sells the same model at 1,200. Based on the information below, provide 2 separate suggestions to help Kyle improve the profit on printers in 2017. So let us look at the printers in detail. So in the previous financial year, she was selling these printers for 1,226. And then she responded to competition and reduced the price to 975, meaning that she's cutting her markup from 70% right to 25%, which is quite a lot. And then you can see also here in terms of the orders that have been received, you can see the orders that have been received have increased quite significantly by over 300. But in terms of the orders that are not being fulfilled, so in the orders that were received, only 725 were actually fulfilled, which is showing like some kind of a bad management there in terms of stock. Yes, and the cost price has remained the same and the profit has dropped. So now we need to advise her on how to go about her business going forward to make sure that she remains profitable. Well, the first thing that I would do, I mean, the other competitor, firstly, they are new. So they are new. So in order for them to get a market share, they would have to sell at a lower price than Kyle, who has been in this market for quite a long time. So I'd say increase the price, increase the price of the printers to a maximum of 1,200. The competitor is still new and has no loyal customer base. You know, if you're old in the market, people just buy from you because you have developed some reputation. So you'd want to increase that price to a maximum of 1,200. And then secondly, the thing that was disappointing to me in this was the fact that there was 925 orders received and 725 that were fulfilled. So here is a proper planning of stock levels and ensure suppliers are followed up on to deliver on time. And then I need to bring the figures in. 925 orders received, only 725 of the orders were fulfilled. And that is because we didn't have the stock that the the customers needed when they needed it. And that brings us to the end of the lesson. Hope you understood this and hope you go and practice a little bit more on these theory questions and you get it right next time. See you in the next video. Cheers.